Hasbro has announced an all-new Marvel Legends Maximum series. What are my thoughts? What am I afraid of? And what do I think is next? Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation and something a little bit different. Today, I just want to sit down and have a conversation. Specifically, I want to talk about the recently announced Maximum Series Spider-Man. I know I'm the last member of the Peanut Gallery to chime in on this, but I have mixed feelings and I wanted to take some time to collect my thoughts. First, let me give a little explanation for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about. During a recent live stream, Hasbro revealed a Spider-Man that's kicking off something called the Maximum Series. This line is going to have premium sculpting, painting, accessories, the works. Pretty much it's Hasbro's attempt to compete with Mafex. To Hasbro's credit, this figure does seem really cool and has some pretty cool accessories. Judging by the promotional images, the articulation is great, and they went out of their way to evoke a 90s style Todd McFarlane Spider-Man. In addition to alternate Peter and Spidey heads, it has lots of hands, including alternate hands with the gloves off, and hands in the process of shooting web streams. Those are things that Hasbro has never given us. It also has a Spidey sense effect, which I'm pretty excited about, his web shield, which I don't think Hasbro's ever done, and some webs, which if I'm honest, I don't really care about. In general, I'm excited and also kind of holding my breath. Again, Hasbro is looking at Mafex and saying if collectors are going to give Medicom lots of money, why not give us lots of money? The thing is, Mafex is more than just a figure and a lot of accessories. And I'm saying this as somebody that's been critical of Medicom in pretty much every Mafex video I've done. Even so, I cannot deny that with that premium price comes premium plastic, great painted and shaded details, and butter smooth joints. If all Hasbro does is put one of their regular figures in a box with a bunch of hands and a $50 price tag, let's be honest, a bunch of us are going to pay it. I say 50 because that's the current speculation. More importantly, how many of these are they going to pump out expecting us to pay for? And, most importantly, how is this going to affect piece count and quality for the regular line? Hasbro's already been scaling back on things like Build-A-Figure pieces, so my fear is that they're going to start shortchanging us even more, so that way they can say, oh, well, that'll all be in the Maximum version. Consider the Deadpool and Hydra Bob 2-pack. That had pretty much every accessory you could possibly want, plus an additional figure, all for the price of a regular 2-pack. I could totally see Hasbro taking the Deadpool half of that and then selling it in the Maximum line for $50. And of course, people would pay it. What about figures like Spiral? New sculpting, 6 articulated arms, and 7 accessories for $25? Is a value like that just never gonna happen again? Don't get me wrong, I like the Spider-Man, and I'm excited at the prospect of what they can do with it, but I'm also deeply concerned by all the additional implications. That said, I don't want to go out on a sour note. Instead, I'd like to do some prognosticating. So, for the rest of this video, I'm going to make some predictions as to the next figures that we're going to see in the Maximum line. Firstly, it's a foregone conclusion that we're gonna get more Spider-Man variations, but I don't think it's gonna be one of these two. Right now everyone's pretty happy with the new Scarlet Spider. Same thing with the black costume Secret Wars. My money's on Ben Reilly. For one thing, they're gonna want to capitalize on that new 90s Spider-Man body with a minimum of new tooling. They'll also use the opportunity to hype up the new one being double pinless, and lure us in with a new Ben Reilly head. After that's when I think we're gonna get the black costume, and it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't just the animated series without the cell shading. Again, it's pinless and has toe articulation. One cool thing would be if they gave him webbing coming out of the tops of his hands, and a Peter head with his symbiotic 5 o'clock shadow. Honestly though, I predict that the next Maximum release that they announce is gonna be Captain America, and they've been building up to it for a while. The Maximum version would likely include all these heads, plus the unmasked Steve Rogers head, and in addition to a bunch of hands, they'd give us the one thing we haven't gotten in a while, a plain Jane straightforward Captain America shield. Considering that the last one we got was busted, and the one before that had holes for energy effects, this is a carrot they've been dangling in front of us for a while. I'm not saying that they might not include this too, but we've been jonesing for this and they know it. Beyond that, I could see them updating this with a diaphragm and a reverse ab crunch. That way they could go in and give him drop down hips. And of course I wouldn't say no to toe articulation, but bottom line, Hasbro's been very clearly laying down the groundwork for this, so it just feels like the next logical logical step. On that note, we know Hasbro can't stay away from Iron Man that long, and my money would be on this version. Yes, we did just get red and yellow, but we are long overdue for getting that 80-year style metallic red and gold back into circulation. The difference, of course, is now he's pinless, and they have a few more accessories they can toss in the box. There are, of course, a couple of other helmets they could toss in, and of course I'll never say no to an unmasked Tony Stark, and just like Captain America, they'd probably go in to update the torso. Beyond that, though, probably just extra hands and blast effects. Not unlike Iron Man, we know Hasbro loves to pump out Wolverines. The 85 years astonishing version is still doing a victory lap, so I don't expect them to return to that well this quickly. And not only did they just give us the brown costume in the Secret Wars wave, I predict we're going to see it again in the next wave of X-Men 97 figures, and it also wouldn't surprise me if we didn't get a Hugh Jackman version this year. No, for my money, Tiger Stripe is the best bet. This, of course, would be comic style, and I sincerely hope that they would finally give us both static and growly facial expressions, along with a full selection of Logans. Not gonna lie, this kind of reminds me of that King Ghidorah meme. Another cool feature would be Logan's electricity blast, which is one thing Hasbro has never done. Wolverine is a great segue to the next logical candidate, Cyclops. I don't really see them doing anything to update this body. I do, however, see them giving us comic-style static and angry optic blast heads, along with new optic blasts, including that new X-Factor one, and of course an unmasked Scott head. One option I'd love would be swappable arms and a jacket overlay. Lastly, and I think it's a guarantee, we're gonna get Venom. Given that they just updated this torso, I think it's silly to think that they're not gonna reuse it, and with so many fans missing out because of it being a Walmart exclusive, that would be a pretty strong selling point. They could also spice things up with pinless joints and toe articulation, and similar to my black costume Spidey suggestion, it would be cool to have hands with webbing coming out, but a lot of it's going to come down to the heads. Naturally, they'll give us a slathery one. I also think they'd give us the Todd McFarlane head to go along with their more Todd McFarlane-inspired Spider-Man, but I could also see them throwing in this head from the Amazon 3-pack, and more importantly, an updated, unmasked Eddie Brock head, which we are long overdue for. Again, this is not my wish list, but rather predictions for what I think we're the most likely to see. If you'd like to see me do a wish list video, sound off in the comments, and while you're down there, let me know if you'd like to see more in front of the camera content like this. If you like this video, check out one of these. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice and have fun.